Imagine pausing time for a moment and looking at that tiny, almost imperceptible choice you make every single morning, like deciding whether to brew a cup of green tea or go for a sugary latte. Surprising, isn't it? How such a small action can silently cascade into countless unseen consequences? This is the paradox of micro-decisions, those seemingly trivial moves that shape your entire life trajectory. You might think your biggest destinies hinge on grand, dramatic moments, but in reality, the subtle shift in what you choose to notice, the fleeting gut feeling you trust or dismiss, is what truly forges your path. It's easy to overlook the significance of a single click on social media, or the choice to read an insightful article instead of doom scrolling, or to savor a mindful meal instead of devouring junk food. Yet every one of these decisions whispers to our subconscious, reinforces certain beliefs, and redefines our internal compass. Today, we peel back the layers on the hidden power that crouches inside these barely noticeable moments. It's a power that not only dictates what we eat or how we view the world, but also has a profound spiritual dimension. If we look closely, there's a reason you might feel guided toward a specific insight or sense an inner nudge that transcends rational explanation. Reflect on the simple act of choosing your first bite of the day. Are you merely going for something tasty, or are you unknowingly programming your mood, energy, and spiritual receptivity for hours to come? There's an old wisdom that says you are what you eat, but it's more than a cliche about nutrients. Every morsel you consume is an encoded signal that influences how you think, how you feel, and what you believe is possible. By reaching for wholesome, life-giving foods, you subtly raise your vibrational state. Yes, your vibrational state, opening up channels of awareness that might remain closed if you're weighed down by sluggish energy. This isn't about fad diets or moral judgments. It's about understanding how each small forkful can shift your perspective in ways you won't fully grasp until you look back, months or years later. Now, let's push it further. What about choosing the smallest details of what you allow into your mental space? Think about the next piece of content you decide to watch, or the voices you allow to echo in your mind. These micro-decisions about what you perceive shape your worldview, nudging you either toward expansion or contraction. One tiny selection can create a chain reaction. Watch something uplifting and your day may radiate confidence, or dive into negativity and watch your flame dim. Our minds are like gardens, quietly responding to every single seed we plant, no matter how minuscule. Are you sowing seeds of self-doubt or seeds of spiritual possibility? Consider the phenomenon of intuition that sometimes guides you toward a path no logic could foresee. You might dismiss that spontaneous urge to take a different route on your commute, only to discover later it helped you dodge a pile of chaos. Or you feel an unexplainable pull to call a friend, and it turns out they desperately needed your support right then. These instances seem random on the surface, but are they really? There's a growing school of thought suggesting that our smallest decisions aren't random at all, but rather subtle whispers from a deeper intelligence, a spiritual undercurrent that ushers us toward experiences our souls crave for growth. Ever notice how a seemingly tiny choice to spend 5 minutes in quiet reflection can spark a creative idea that changes your entire day? Or how an instinctive decision to show kindness in a moment of tension can unravel a thread of conflict before it tangles your relationships? These are not leaps of faith. They are micro-leaps, bridging the gap between the everyday and the profound. It's as if each micro-decision is a clue from the universe, painting a breadcrumb trail that leads us to surprising synchronicities. Skeptics may scoff at the notion that your intuition might be in dialogue with something larger, but even from a purely psychological perspective, these small decisions harness the power of priming. By making a positive or spiritually inclined choice, you're priming your mind to see possibilities where others see dead ends. And that subtle vantage shift can be the difference between feeling trapped in a grim loop or recognizing the luminous door that was always waiting for you to open it. Let's step into the realm of evidence and theory. Psychologists have conducted countless studies on how small cues can drastically alter behavior. For instance, a faint aroma of citrus cleaner in a room can make people unconsciously tidy up more. or a brief image of a smiling face can spark warmth towards strangers. These might look like trivial triggers, yet the evidence points to a massive cumulative impact on our daily choices. If something as simple as a scent can shift our actions, imagine how the micro-decisions you make regarding your food, your focus, and your spiritual leanings can shape your destiny. Then there's the theory of thin slicing in psychology, suggesting that we often make surprisingly accurate judgments in just a few seconds based on limited information. Every day you're thin slicing experiences, deciding in a flash whether certain foods will nourish you, whether certain social interactions will elevate you, and whether certain spiritual practices resonate with your soul. Each decision might seem inconsequential in isolation, but together they're heavy weights tipping the scale of your future outcomes. Furthermore, quantum theory offers us a mind-bending perspective, even if we don't fully grasp all its complexities. Some interpretations hint that every choice might collapse a wave of possibilities into a tangible event. That means each tiny yes or no could be forging real, measurable shifts in your life's path. It's as though reality is clay, waiting for your consistent, albeit minuscule, presses and impressions to mold it into your personal sculpture. That brings us to a question few dare to ask. Does it truly matter if your motivations stem from faith, logic, or raw curiosity, as long as you're making purposeful micro-decisions? Some argue that it absolutely does, because the intention behind each action infuses a unique energy into your life's narrative. If you're acting out of fear, even the smallest choices can restrict you, whereas decisions made from love or wonder can expand you far beyond your perceived limitations. Imagine carefully selecting a nourishing meal because you revere your body as a sacred vessel, or choosing a meditation practice because you sense there's more to reality than meets the eye. The potency of that intention permeates the result, like a subtle fragrance lingering in the air. Oddly enough, your mind might fight back. After all, it's simpler to remain on autopilot, letting your environment, advertising, or social pressures dictate your micro-decisions. But if you surrender your helm, you risk drifting into outcomes that bear no resemblance to your deeper aspirations. The real nuance is how to balance effortless flow with conscious direction. There's a grace in trusting your intuition while also verifying it with reason. That synergy can help you navigate life's complexities without losing the sense of awe that comes from recognizing each single step can alter your spiritual and practical destiny. This intersection of free will and subtle guidance is where the magic truly unfolds. If you suspect there's a bigger design, each micro-decision becomes a sacred thread woven into an intricate cosmic tapestry. Now, let's consider the subtle but powerful chain reactions that can spark from one moment of mindful choice. Imagine you're standing in the grocery aisle, about to pick a sugary convenience snack. Then you pause and opt for something more nourishing. That single act might nudge you to feel more energetic when you wake up tomorrow, leading you to check out a morning yoga video, which then puts you in a calmer mindset to handle challenges at work. One domino after another falls into place, transforming not just your physical health, but your relationships, productivity, and even the sense of peace you carry internally. And the crucial part, these ripples aren't confined to your immediate circle. People around you observe your subtle transformations, often unconsciously. Perhaps your coworker sees you approach a stressful meeting with composure and wonders how you manage it. That curiosity might prompt them to make a micro-decision in their own life. Maybe they try a few moments of breath work, or choose a more balanced lunch. In this way, small personal pivots blossom into collective improvements. Your tiny decision has now multiplied, generating waves that extend beyond your own sphere. A big question arises: how do we remain alert to the micro-decisions that matter? It's easy to zone out in a busy world where choices relentlessly bombard us. One technique is to adopt micro-meditations throughout your day. Pause briefly, sense your body, sense your emotion, and notice what choice stands before you. Doing so grounds you, offering a split-second clarity to see whether an option aligns with your values or leads you astray. Now, let's shift our focus to the role of spirituality in these micro-decisions. Spiritual beliefs often emphasize consciousness and intention, suggesting that each choice, even about something as unremarkable as what time you wake up, can be a prayer in motion or a moment of communion with the unknown. If you subscribe to the idea that your spirit codes your experiences, then every little decision becomes an act of co-creation. You're not just selecting an outcome, you're participating in an unfolding dance of divine and human collaboration. And if that sounds too lofty, consider the grounded perspective. Focusing your awareness on the smallest details fosters gratitude, humility, and an almost childlike wonder, which in turn shapes a life that feels more expansive and fulfilling. Additionally, spiritual traditions across the world teach that when you honor each moment, you align with a larger flow. It's akin to tapping into a cosmic rhythm where your micro-decisions resonate with a grander harmony. This isn't about invoking supernatural forces, so much as it is about tuning yourself to a frequency that invites clarity and purpose. When you approach a meal with reverence, like a sacred ritual, you nourish more than just your body. When you choose to perceive the world with curiosity rather than judgment, you become a magnet for insights and serendipities. These choices, though tiny, carry a potent spiritual charge. But there's a paradox here. The more we realize how powerful each micro-decision is, the more we might feel pressured or even anxious about messing up. Yet the beauty lies in the imperfection. Spiritual wisdom often reminds us that it's not about never slipping. It's about noticing when we do, gently course-correcting. Now that we've delved into the hidden power of micro-decisions, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you hover on the brink of awareness, or will you let these ideas mold your everyday actions, from your breakfast plate to your deepest contemplations? The real adventure lies in testing these concepts in your own life. Notice how a single shift, a healthier meal, a mindful pause before reacting, or a moment spent listening to your intuition can catalyze a domino effect that colors your entire day.
When you see the tangible outcomes of these micro-decisions, from feeling more present in your body to experiencing a heightened sense of spiritual connection, you'll realize that the gulf between the ordinary and the extraordinary is narrower than you ever suspected. Each small choice is a portal, not just to better habits, but to a reality where you actively collaborate with the subtle energies around you. It's a dance of free will and cosmic guidance. And you're the choreographer. If this sparks a flicker of curiosity, let it ignite a deeper exploration. Maybe it's a conversation with a friend about the power of small choices, or a comment below that shares your most surprising micro-decision story. Whatever you do, remember that no act is inconsequential when examined through the lens of conscious intent. That next decision might unlock new possibilities. So here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, pay attention to every tiny choice you make. Then come back and let us know what happened. Did anything shift? Did you catch a glimpse of the extraordinary within the mundane?